Well, it's Wonderful Wednesday, February 3rd, and welcome to the reading of the Mansfield News Journal. This is Pam. I will be reading for you today. Let's begin with the area deaths. Mildred Lee Davis, 87, passed this life on Saturday, January 30th, in Liberty Nursing Center after an extended illness. Private funeral services will be held for family and close friends at 11 a.m. on Thursday in the Chapel of Williams Funeral Services. Tina Louise Goad of Shelby passed away unexpectedly on Wednesday, January 27th in Ashland. The family will receive friends from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Thursday, February 4th at the Ontario home of Wapner Funeral Directors. The funeral service will follow at 1 p.m. Ruth Joan Hennessy, 96, of Belleville, passed away Saturday, January 30th, 2021, at home surrounded by her loving family. Her family will receive friends Wednesday, February 3rd from 3 to 7 p.m. in the Belleville Snyder Funeral Home. Guests are required to wear face coverings at all times and practice social distancing guidelines. A Catholic Mass will be Thursday at 11 a.m. at Resurrection Parish. David S. Spencer, known as Dave, age 77, of Shiloh, died Wednesday, January 27th, at Ohio Health Mansfield Hospital as a result of the COVID-19 infection. A celebration of Dave's life will be held and announced at a later date. Care for Dave and his family is being provided by Penwell Turner Funeral Home. And that concludes the area deaths available for today. So now we will begin with our first article. Snow Day by Lou Whitmire. A snow day for most kids Monday meant no school for others. It meant lots of shoveling or plenty of extra work as Mansfield received 6.3 inches of snow this weekend. While tow truck operators were swamped with calls for service, some area businesses were affected in a variety of ways with the onslaught of wintry weather. Area law enforcement also handled dozens of crashes on Sunday. Richland County on Monday remained under a level 1 snow advisory. Captain Donald Zenner of Richland County Sheriff's Office said the county went to level 1 on Sunday at 6 a.m. and remains under the road advisory due to more possible snow expected. The county handled some crashes Monday morning, and the city did too, Zenner said. Mansfield police handled 9 crashes from 6 a.m. Sunday to 6 a.m. Monday, according to the Records Department. Ontario police handled 5 crashes on Sunday, a dispatcher reported. Tuesday's high is expected to be 27 degrees, according to the Cleveland office of the National Weather Service. Mansfield City Street Supervisor Dave Lorenz said crews have been out since 11 p.m. Saturday around the clock taking care of the main and secondary roads for safety vehicles and motorists alike. Lorenz said the NWS on Monday was predicting another inch or so, and if that doesn't happen, crews were planning to clear residential streets Monday afternoon. The Richland County garage crew were out salting and plowing on Monday. Downtown merchants shoveled sidewalks as people maneuvered slippery roads throughout the area. The Liberty Park sledding hill was quiet Monday morning as geese and ducks nestled together along the pond off Gray Street. The Mansfield Post of the Ohio Highway Patrol on Monday morning reported no serious crashes, just a lot of slide-offs. Ron Speck, who has operated a snowplow business for 42 years, says he has been plowing commercial parking lots for 2 days without sleep, except for a short time fixing a front loader, which quit on him. Downtown, the Coney Island Diner owner Jim Smith said cold weather and snow always bring in more people for breakfast for home fries and biscuits and gravy, and the snow did indeed bring more customers in on Monday morning. But Smith, who operates the diner with his wife Kathy, said business isn't what it used to be before the coronavirus restrictions. It's very depressing, he said. Last year, we were having such a great year until February. I remember calling Kathy and telling her the governor shut us down in March, and we still laugh at family gatherings because she said, "I hope it doesn't last longer than a week," he said. The Smiths close the eatery each weekday at 2 p.m. due to the slowdown in business. Even with schools closed Monday, Snow Trails manager of marketing Nate Wollison said the fresh snow still makes everyone excited to get on the slopes, but with COVID-19 restrictions, the ski resort on Possum Road requires advanced bookings online, and walk-ups are unavailable. We're always monitoring quantities online, he said. It's still exciting. We still get excited, but we always have snow because we make snow, Wollison said. Jeff Carter, owner of Kells Hardware, 15 West Main Street in Lexington, said he was super busy with customers needing shovels and salt. He said some customers were flocking to the store and joked that some just came in to aggravate him, adding that his customers always make for great conversations. Melissa Tolliver of Terry's Towing and Body Shop at 1170 Reed Street said the business was swamped Monday and had been going strong since Saturday night with calls for service for slide-offs and crashes. Yes, we're getting pretty tired, Tolliver said when asked how they were holding up. Well, let's move on now to our next article. Broadview Heights woman 19 dies following a crash with a dump truck, by Lou Whitmire. A 19-year-old woman died Tuesday at Ohio Health Mansfield Hospital from injuries after her vehicle collided with a dump truck at Ohio 13 North and Piper Road, according to Richland County Coroner's investigator Bob Ball. Silvana Colatuono, 19, of Broadview Heights, was pronounced dead at 12:56 p.m. Tuesday at the hospital, Ball said. The crash was reported at 12:10 p.m. Colatuono was driving a 2020 Jeep Wrangler West on Piper Road, while the 2006 Sterling commercial dump truck was traveling north on Ohio 13, according to a news release from Mansfield Police. Preliminary investigation indicates the Jeep traveled into the path of the dump truck, which then struck the driver's side of the Jeep, said Captain Sherry Robertson. The driver of the dump truck, a 59-year-old man, suffered minor injuries, Robertson said. He was taken to a local hospital. Ball said the woman's body will be taken to the Montgomery County Medical Examiner's office for an autopsy. Drivers were advised to find alternative routes as police continue to investigate the crash. Fire damages vacant house on Glessner Avenue. Mansfield firefighters extinguished a fire at 9:52 p.m. Saturday in a vacant house at 35 Glessner Avenue. Heavy smoke was coming from the two-story house at Glessner Avenue and Main Street, according to the fire report. There were heavy hoarder-like conditions throughout the structure. A neighbor advised that no one lived at the house, but he sees people there sometimes. The cause of the fire remains under investigation. Focht won't seek re-election to Bucyrus City Council. Only 3 candidates have filed, by Jerry Goebel. The city's 3rd Ward Council representative has announced he will not seek re-election this fall, and as of midday Monday, only 4 candidates had filed ahead of the Wednesday deadline. Doug Focht, an independent representing the 3rd Ward, said Friday that he will step down at the end of his current term. According to the Crawford County Board of Elections, as of midday Monday, 3 candidates had filed petitions for a spot on the ballot in the May 3rd primary. Incumbents Kevin Myers, Republican, at large, C. Aaron Chirac, Democrat, 2nd Ward, and newcomer Brenton Potter, Republican, 1st Ward. Chirac, who was appointed to fill an unexpired term last year, said she had her petition signed and turned in January 4th. I stepped up to help my community, she said. I'm hoping I will be able to continue to do so. Kirk Falkhauser, Republican Council President, said Friday he plans to run. The remaining council members have not yet filed and did not respond to an email from the Telegraph Forum asking if they plan to do so. Bruce Truca, Republican, 1st Ward, Lisa Alsept, Independent, 4th Ward, Mark Makever, Republican at large, and James Mee, Independent at large. As independents, Alsept and Mee have until 4 p.m. May 3rd to file petitions. Focht, who is completing his 2nd term on council, cited personal reasons for his decisions. I've always had an ambition of owning my own business, and I have been working towards that goal, basically in the shadows of everything that everybody sees me do, he said. He's working toward opening a laundromat and pack and ship store in Bucyrus. I've had an ambition to have a pack and ship store for probably the last 5 years, he said. I see it as a need in our community, and a growing need. The only place we have right now to mail or get a package ready is the post office. But taking on a new challenge won't allow him to devote enough effort to city council, he said. If I was to run again and get elected just because I could, that is the wrong reason, he said. I want to do my job to the best of my ability, and I know I won't have the time. Ultimately, I've just finally reached that point when I'm ready to make that jump, he said. I'm very appreciative for the things that I've learned in the time that I've had with the city. Those lessons will help him as he prepares to launch his business venture, he said. Fogg said he will back Republican Terry Spiegel, who confirmed Monday he plans to file for Fogg's seat. I fully 100% endorse him and support him, Fogg said. Spiegel, who retires in 2019 after 47 years as a city employee, ran against Fankhauser in that year's Republican primary for the city council presidency, losing by 11 votes. He brings a lot of good ideas to the table. He's also willing to listen to others' ideas, and I think he would bring not only some experience and understanding from being somebody who worked for the city for all those years, but also just having the experience of living in this community for as long as he has, Fogg said. He takes a lot of pride in this community as well. The filing deadline for partisan candidates is 4 p.m. Wednesday. That's also the deadline for local questions and issues for the May ballot, including local option petitions. Independent candidates for offices for which a primary election may be held must file petitions by 4 p.m. May 3rd, according to the Ohio Secretary of State's website. Candidates in nonpartisan races have until 4 p.m. August 4th to file for the general election. Up next, craft show to benefit COVID-19 patient by Zach Tuggle. A woman who is still learning to use her hands after a severe COVID illness will be the benefactor of the upcoming Share the Love fundraiser. The craft sale takes place 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. February 6th at the SC Event Center, 417 Orange Street in Mansfield. It's the 4th year that event planners Sonia Francis and Carmen Armstrong have used their talents to help someone local who is struggling. We feel it's important to give back to the community and people who are in need, Francis said. This year, it's their friend Stacy Young. It was still summer when she became ill with the novel coronavirus that caused COVID-19. She's been doing this for 5 months, Francis said. The woman had to spend 2 months in the hospital. Then there was rehab. Now she's back home, but her recovery has not ended. She's very careful because she still has some therapy to be able to use her arms and her hands, Francis said, so she's not able to work right now. Young worked as a pharmacy tech before her illness. She's been away from that position so long that her FMLA and short-term disability benefits are soon set to expire, leaving her with no financial protection. The bills don't just stop because you don't have any income, Francis said. The upcoming fundraiser will be the only guaranteed assistance Young will have until she regains full use of her hands and can return to work. Whatever we raise, we will be passing on to her, Francis said. Our goal is to raise as much as we can to help her. More than 15 craft vendors have so far committed to the event. The first 20 people who attend will be given swag bags as a gift. It will be a little bag full of goodies, Francis said. And of course, everyone who attends is asked to take proper COVID precautions, including wearing a mask and maintaining their distance from other shoppers. We are following all of the recommended mandates, Francis said. All of our vendors are encouraged to have hand sanitizers at their booths. For more information, call either Francis at 419-545-5781 or Armstrong at 419-545-5048. Up next, Mansfield Reformatory, Exploring the Paranormal by Ed Blint. Daylight was expiring outside as I stood alone in an Ohio State reformatory hallway connected to a maze of rooms in what used to be administrative offices. A film crew and paranormal investigator had departed the 3rd floor, heading up a stairwell to the chapel. Positioning a cell phone between my fingers, I stayed behind and captured a photo of a bedroom that had been featured in the movie The Shawshank Redemption, when from a darkened corridor emerged a faint, whispery voice. "What are you doing?" Nobody was there. All else was quiet. A chill passed through my body, goosebumps prickling my skin. Questions filled my head. Did the sound materialize from a dimension or realm beyond this world? Was it spoken by the spirit of a former inmate? Did the voice belong to another member of the group? Or was it a trick of the imagination? The answer is as elusive as the paranormal hauntings said to inhabit the eerie and iconic confines of the limestone Goliath, opened in 1896 and shuttered as a prison in 1990. After hearing and trying to reconcile what could or could not have been a voice of the dead, I continued to shadow filmmaker Seth Breedlove and his Wadsworth-based production company, Small Town Monsters, during the crew's paranormal investigation of the sprawling former lockup. Launching his career with a 2015 documentary exploring the legend of the Minerva Monster in Stark County, Breedlove's catalog now features a slew of films dedicated to unusual folklore and bizarre phenomenon, from cryptids to the Mothman to witches to UFOs. Breedlove's recent trip to the Ohio State Reformatory, also known as the Mansfield Reformatory, will stream in March as an episode of On the Trail of Hauntings, available exclusively to paid members of the Small Town Monsters YouTube channel before receiving broader summer release on Amazon Prime Video. A very well-known location. Breedlove says he's not bent on proving or disproving reports of the supernatural at the famed prison. The admitted skeptic wants to tell a story central to the history and mystique of the building, as well as probing its reputation for hauntings. The previous two locations we've done are kind of unknowns, and this is a very well-known location, said Breedlove, contrasting the reformatory with Grove Hill Cemetery in Hanoverton and Anchorage Mansion in Marietta, both featured in the first two episodes of On the Trail of Hauntings. So we're excited to get into a place that has a fairly well-known pedigree and a lot of really interesting stories connected to it, said Breedlove, who operates Small Town Monsters jointly with his wife, Adrienne Breedlove. But our focus is always on the legends and the history of these places. And then, if something cool happens in the meantime, that's great. But the history is our primary focus, so I think that in itself kind of sets us apart. After a daytime tour during public hours, I continued to tag along when Small Town Monsters was given exclusive nighttime access to the 250,000 square foot site, which is overseen by the nonprofit Mansfield Reformatory Preservation Society. No spirit boxes, Ouija boards, or special voice recording equipment were employed. The group consciously avoided such ghost hunting tools and taking a low-tech, objective approach. There's no end game for me, because I just assume something will usually happen, Breedlove said at a later junction of the investigation. Even if we don't capture proof or evidence of anything, we'll probably get some sort of event. Thuds in the Jesus Room. Through a pitch-black labyrinth, the path ahead was illuminated only by a narrow flashlight beam or the glow of a handheld video camera. I kept pace with members of the film crew as they ventured deep into the fortress. Past decaying cells and rusty steel bars, along walls scarred by time and riddled with peeling paint, up and down steps, footfalls echoing in the silence across the floors of a deserted library and abandoned infirmary, and into the vastness of a pillared chapel, a religious mural coloring the wall behind a dusty pulpit, wooden pews arranged for a service never to be given again. Along the way, strange things happened, including deep thuds emanating from the corner of the Jesus Room, and heard with my own ears. Travis Webb, an investigator with Hometown Paranormal, who was interviewed by Small Town Monsters about his past experience at the reformatory, said the Jesus Room, an area adorned with a mural of the Son of God, frequently attracts the supernatural. The aforementioned thuds couldn't be replicated by banging walls in the room. Investigators also ruled out the possibility of someone causing the noise by walking on an upper floor. Breedlove, however, later examined the thumps for at least a half an hour before declaring the sound wasn't so mysterious after all. Plywood over one of the windows caused it, he said. When the wind would hit it just right, the board would swing out, bang into a metal pipe, then swing back, giving it the knocking effect. Breedlove explained, noting he recorded it on video. Mysterious pebbles. Webb, a Minerva resident and fellow paranormal sleuth, Eric Hickenbottom of Canton, both focused their investigations on sites in Ohio, West Virginia, and Pennsylvania. Paranormal activity is commonly reported and documented at the Ohio State Reformatory, with more than 100,000 visitors annually, including public tours, private investigations, and ghost hunts conducted by television programs using special equipment and gadgetry. Webb, co-founder of Hometown Paranormal, ranks it among the top sites for ghostly encounters. After the crew left the Jesus room, I bore witness to a strange occurrence that couldn't fully be explained. Winding into another recess of the building, I stayed right behind Webb. A few steps passed before he froze near the spot where he said a pebble struck his leg. Pebbles being thrown up here is definitely common, he shared. So I posed a question. Could the pebble have been kicked up while walking? But he ruled that out given the trajectory of the tiny object. Moments later, without warning, it happened again. To me this time. Emotions percolated. I was both startled and bemused. A pebble-like object struck me in the back of the neck, leaving a stinging sensation. Gazing above, it didn't appear as if the stone or concrete fragment could have fallen from what appeared to be a smooth, flat ceiling. Hard to explain. Exploring the fossil of a prison with Breedlove himself was mostly uneventful in terms of paranormal. He was focused on letting the camera roll impartially while admiring the bygone character of the building and the resilience of its century-plus construction. But strange phenomena were later reported back in the attic wing by other groups. Sitting alone in chairs at one end of the room, Hickenbottom and Courtney Swihart, a member of Hometown Paranormal, who also assisted the film's crew during its shoot, were mystified by what they described as a stick-like figure emitting light and moving both from left to right and towards them. I thought it was a hallucination, but Hickenbottom saw the same thing, Swihart said. It was definitely hard to explain and striking to see. In all the places we have been, that was the most convincing thing I have ever experienced, she added. Something new, something different. Breedlove wasn't taking as much of a hands-on role in the filming as with past projects. Content to shoot exterior footage, offer guidance, monitor social media accounts, and stay behind the scenes while keeping the mood light among the crew. The creative vision was left to Santino Vitale, a regular collaborator with Small Town Monsters and the director of the new paranormal-based series. What's going to be interesting is trying to cover the reformatory in a way that nobody else has done before, because basically everybody's been here, said Vitale, chatting with me before the ghost hunt started. So hopefully, I think there will be something we can find that gives the viewers something new, or something more, or something different from what they've seen in other ghost shows. I think that's what separates a lot of what Seth does from everybody else. He said of his film partner's commitment to storytelling. He wants to focus on more than just a jump scare or, hey, here's this spooky thing. It's the history of it, too. And now, in brief, Ohio. State House to offer Living History program during Black History Month. In Columbus, the Capitol Square Review and Advisory Board, the CSRAB, will celebrate Black History Month throughout February with a free historical performance each Tuesday at noon. In consideration of the health and safety of the audience and staff, each 2021 performance will be virtual and available online using the Zoom app. The programs are presented by We've Known Rivers, which is a partnership of dynamic storytellers with a passion for history and education. Learn more at facebook.com/We've Known Rivers. The series is organized by the Ohio State House Museum Education Center with the support of the Ohio Channel. The programs are free and no registration is required. Some programs include pre-recorded videos and live interactive question and answering sessions. Little Buckeye Children's Museum receives GuideStar Seal Mansfield. New article. Little Buckeye Children's Museum received GuideStar Seal. In Mansfield, Little Buckeye Children's Museum earned the 2021 Platinum Seal of Transparency, the highest level of recognition offered by GuideStar. To reach the platinum level, Little Buckeye Children's Museum added extensive information to its nonprofit profile on GuideStar, basic contact and organizational information, in-depth financial information, qualitative information about goals, strategies, and capabilities, and quantitative information about results and progress towards its mission. By taking the time to provide this information, Little Buckeye Children's Museum has demonstrated its commitment to transparency and to give donors and funders meaningful data to evaluate nonprofit performance. Regional Planning Commission selects officers. In Mansfield, Joe Guys, project coordinator for the City of Shelby, was selected to serve as president of the Richland County Regional Planning Commission for 2021-22 at the January 27th organizational meeting. Guys serves on the Commission's Transportation Technical Advisory Committee and the Zoning Subdivision and Land Use Committee. Deanna West Torrance, founder and executive director of the North End Community Improvement Collaborative, will serve as vice president. Guys and West Torrance will oversee the work of the Commission, which is the comprehensive land use and transportation planning agency for this area. The Commission is made up of government, business, and civic leaders from across the county. Galion City Schools will host College Credit Plus meeting. The Galion City Schools will host a College Credit Plus meeting in the high school cafeteria on Monday. The event is open to Galion City School District students enrolled in grades 6 through 11 for the 2021-22 school year. The meeting will be divided into two sessions. Masks are required. Students with last names beginning with A through K will meet 5:30 to 6:30 p.m., and students with last names beginning with L through Z will meet 7 to 8 p.m. The meeting will be presented by representatives from the Galion City Schools, along with virtual presentations from The Ohio State University at Mansfield and North Central State College. The program gives students the opportunity to take college classes and earn college credits before high school graduation. Tuition fees and the cost of books will be provided at no cost to parents if their child qualifies. Well, friends, that concludes the reading of the Mansfield News Journal for Wednesday, February 3rd. My name is Pam. Please stay safe. Thank you for having me in your home today. Be blessed. Make it a great day.